Well, I am making this video not just for yourself or myself. I am doing this for everybody. There is no distinction as such that this is for this particular person or this is for this particular person. This is for in general for everyone. So I'll be answering the questions that some of the important questions that are asked to oneself, and I think that is important to be answered because I think that to some extent I am sensitive, I am not insensitive. So, therefore, I believe that I need to answer these questions. So, one by one, I will read out the questions and I will answer them. The first question is: who are you and how would you describe yourself? Well, my name is Mangal Murthy and I was born in Patna in the year 2000. And I am a person, I am a male. That is a physical identity that I know that I have a body and I am a male. But that is a very general answer to be given. But to be more philosophical in terms of this answer will be is that I am not different. Just like everybody else, I am a very normal person with some aspirations, want to do few things. I have such wishes and I want them to be fulfilled and I am working towards them also. But I believe that this is something which everybody has. But what is the ultimate goal of life? Why have we taken birth? So the answer will be that in order to get the liberation and to get oneself free from the bondage that we witness while we are alive, it is for everybody. It is not for a specific person, this is for everybody, including me. So I believe that I am a soul, maybe moving from one life to another. I don't know what life I had before this, what was the form of my life, what creature I was, I don't know. But when I believe in the philosophy of Hinduism, the philosophy says to me that my ultimate goal is to achieve liberation. And liberation from what? The cycle of life and death, to become the part of that ultimate soul which is called Brahm, the eternal truth. So I believe that unless I am a part of it, I don't know who I am. So I believe that that is the most important question that one can ever face in one's life. That this is the foundation of all philosophies, of all religion, irrespective of place or what kind of rituals are being followed by a particular religion. All religions speak of the very same thing, that who are you and why have you taken birth? Will I be born again? I don't know. That is a very difficult question to be answered. I have contemplated a number of times, but to be honest with you and to be honest with myself, this is something which is unanswered, and I am still searching for an answer and I have not got one. And this is what the journey is about. Where will I get the answer? Is it inside me? Will I be able to find it? I don't know. Maybe in future, yeah. But right now I am unaware of the answer. But I am struggling. I am working. I am not sitting alone. I will find an answer. So the next question says, what are your values? Well, my values are honesty, integrity, and sympathy. And without being a sympath, you cannot be a kind person. You need to be kind to others. You cannot be kind to just yourself. If you are kind to yourself, then you must be a kind person to others. That's what I believe. Because how do you generate that feeling of sensitivity? When do you feel the pain? If you feel the pain for yourself, I'm damn sure that you will feel pain for others. And this is how a feeling evolves. It doesn't come just from a source or from somewhere, from an unknown source. What do we perceive in our life that plays a very important role in generating such feelings? If you are honest, you will never try to cheat with anybody else. You will always try to that maintain the standard that you have set for yourself. And I believe that values are nothing but a standards that you set for yourself, or a set of values, a set of ideas. Those are intangible, but I believe that they have a very profound effect on one's mind. These may sound very small ideas, but the impact which they have on the human mind, it is unbelievable. What is one thing that is expected out of a public servant? I believe being honest is the most important value that a public servant could inculcate. This is not just for a public servant, this is applicable to everybody, irrespective of what profession one practices. So, the third question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love yourself? Why did you give this a score? Well, I believe I would rate myself 10 out of 10. And I believe that I love myself so much that I have certain ideals to be achieved. Once the ideals are achieved, I believe that I have lived a meaningful life, a life where I did not exploit others just for the sake of enjoying. I believe that if you are a loving being, if you love yourself, then this is going to reflect in your actions, the words which you will speak. And I believe that to make this world a beautiful place, which is a beautiful place right now, but what is one thing which makes world a bad place? It is the actions that we commit. Somebody commits rape, somebody commits theft, somebody deals in stolen goods. These are offenses in the field of law, but morally also these things are unacceptable. One should not indulge into such activities. So I think in order to make this world a better place, we need to love ourselves. And when we will start loving ourselves, we will make this world even a better place. Look at your life now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your life? Why do you think it is important to be happy? Well, I would like to rate myself 5. I will not be lying to anybody or lying to myself, because I know that I think too much, and this too much thinking has led to a feeling of melancholy, and I have been suffering. This has been going on since I was 11. Earlier, I did not used to think, but now I have started giving thoughts When I give a shot to a thinking on a particular topic, I put myself in too much restraint. I find myself in pain. And this goes on and on and on. For a moment, I may stop thinking, but again the thought pops up in the mind and it causes the same pain that I was witnessing before. So, what is the remedy that one can have in order to come out of this pain? So, I searched about this on internet. I read some books of philosophy, of spirituality, and I also heard some of the good teachers who were training people. And I went through all the videos and I realized that the one basic thing that is required in one's life is satisfaction. I believe after going through all such things, I believe that self gratification will only lead to more pain. Satisfaction comes at a bottom level and the self gratification comes at higher level, and people are suffering and they have been suffering and people will suffer because there will never be any instance where they will say that now we are feeling self gratificated, but it is the satisfaction which gives a moment of peace to the mind. Peace comes when you tell yourself that whatever I have is enough to sustain a good life, to lead a good life. But if there is a feeling that I need more, what I have is not enough, you will put more actions into the motion, and that will lead to suffering. And suffering will go on because there will never be a moment where you will feel self gratificated. So, self gratification is an illusion which has been created by us. There is no end to it. That's what I believe. So, the next question is, what are the biggest things you have learned in life to that? Well, I believe that life in itself is a gift, and to live life is the biggest thing that a person can do. The problem with all of us is that we don't know how to live, what actions to commit, what words to speak out, how to deal with such emotions which are negative. We have been a failure. I have been a failure. At number of instances, I failed. And believe me, this is a subject to realization. Nobody can tell you that you have been a failure. Nobody says that I am a failure. It is a matter of scrutiny in retrospect. You have to kill your ego. You have to, if you cannot kill your ego, then you will have to put aside the ego that you have. The feeling of I, the feeling of self, it is so strong that it does not let you look at your vices, what wrongs you have committed. I think self examination is the biggest thing that one can learn, and I have learnt it. Earlier, I used to believe that I was the most correct person on the face of the earth, but in recent incidents I believed. Now I am of the opinion that the life in itself is very difficult to decipher. You cannot give a judgment on the basis of just one incident or an event. You don't know what will happen next, what will happen tomorrow. Now I can prove this by just giving one example. Just think for a moment, whatever days you have lived, whatever things that have happened with you, go back and examine that whatever activities or whatever events that took place in one's life, all the events that happened with me, out of that, how many of them were in my favor or happened as per my wish? Even if I tried to my best, you will find that most of them did not happen the way you wanted it to happen. This is just one thing that we need to understand, and our whole life will change. And I am telling you, this is not a small statement. This is the experience which I have gathered. This may not be true for you, but on general this happens. I'm not pointing out at anybody, I'm just making a general statement. The problem with one person is that, or oneself is that, we think that we are a special case, that what happened with others will not happen with me. This is what we think, this is what we have been led to believe, that we are a special case, that what happens with others will not be applicable to us. If a person has died in an accident, you believe that no, this will not happen with me. And that is the point where we miss the teachings of life, which life tries to teach us, because life in itself is a great teacher. Life gives us experiences. We cannot avoid actions, but actions teach us experience. And experience is the biggest wealth that one can gain. I am not telling you to completely live your life on the basis of experience. What Sri Krishna told to Arjun, that what you need to do is surrender. You have to believe in the eternal truth that your actions will decide your future. You cannot dodge your duties. So these things are complex. I am not saying that these things are simple, but if efforts are put in, they can definitely be understood. Believe me. So the next question is, what are your biggest goals and dreams? Well, to find a job, to build a house, to visit foreign countries, to hang out with friends, to visit all the places which hold important historical eminence. Because I have been a student of history, I believe that being a history student, I must visit to all the places within India and outside India which are very significant and has significance, and one cannot understand just by reading the books. If you, or one wants to understand the history of human beings, how have we evolved, history of India, history of Europe, history of Latin America, history of law, history of justice, history of anything. Each place has history. It is embedded. What you need to do is that you need to dug up. Have I dug up? Not that much what I should have. So I believe that historicity is very important and one cannot afford to ignore it. If somebody neglects, I believe that he is making a very big mistake, a grave mistake, a horrendous mistake. If you were to do something for free for the rest of your life, what would it be? Because I aspire to be a lawyer, I would like to represent those people who cannot afford a good lawyer and those who feel that merely because they don't have money they cannot represent themselves. So I think that one can do if it is not affecting one's income. I think one should definitely extend a helping hand to those who need help. How can you make this happen even if in a small way? Well, I can make this happen by marketing myself, because this is the era of marketing. You must know how to sell the product. If a product has to be sold, you must present it in such a manner that it attracts everybody. That's the strategy. That is called the nuances of marketing. Identify three people who have achieved your desired goals. Well, there have been a lot of people who have done extremely well in the field of law. One was Nani Palkiwala, one is Harish Salve, one is Kapil Sibbal, one is Dushyant Dubey, who was the ex-president of Supreme Court Bar Association. They all have been very good lawyers. They have presented their case in such a manner that they write a new chapter in the legal affairs. They all have the experience of more than 4 decades. Prasant Bhushan is also a good lawyer. He has fought many cases without even charging a penny. And law is treated as a profession. At the civil court level, there is a lack of those kind of lawyers, but still they are good lawyers. But I believe that a good lawyer is one who has the ability to interpret law and to give a new perspective to it. Even the judge should say in response that what arguments that you have articulated, those were unprecedented. This kind of appreciation one should get if one is a good lawyer. And administering, I believe that justice should be administered at each level. One should not be kept aside, one should not be stopped from getting justice. Access to justice is a basic right under Article 1 of the Constitution of India. And this is an article which has been defined by the Supreme Court, and it is being defined, it is being explained. Administering justice to the people is the biggest service that the body of lawyers could give to this nation, because justice is a basic right that one should get. So I will read out one more question. Do you like watching movies? Yes, I like watching movies. And I am a very big fan of Stanley Kubrick because of the camera position, the camera movement, the plot, the way he presents the story, and the originality that he has. It is my misfortune that I couldn't watch his movies now because he is no more in this world. But whatever films that he made, those were extremely, extremely well. As I mentioned before, that in the field of law, a lot of people have written chapters in the same manner in cinema, in international cinema. Stanley Kubrick proved himself that he was the stalwart of the film industry at global level. I saw his all films from the Space Odyssey, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, which was a psychological thriller. Still, I have not understood whether it was a ghost movie or a psychological thriller. Now, this is, I think, what a director should do. Along with that, one director which I really appreciate is David Lynch. I watched his movie Mulholland Drive, which came out in 2001. The kind of plot that he had chosen was unbelievable. He is known for presenting plots in a very undefined manner. The dream sequence, still it is difficult to put him in which category he lies. Does he make horror film or does he make a psychological thriller or is it a period drama? Difficult to answer because there is an amalgamation of all these elements into one film. That's what he has been doing. First movie that he made in 1977. I don't remember the name. He shot the movie in black and white. And I believe that if anybody will see that movie, they will be amazed that this kind of movie was thought by a young kid back then in mid 1970s. Very difficult. He really deserves to be applauded. Critically acclaimed director. So I'm not feeling really well right now because I had been to market and I came back and I felt a little bit sleepy. But I did not sleep, so I am having headache. So I would like to wind up this. But tomorrow I will definitely start this one more time and we will continue and we will talk about all those remaining questions that are to be answered. And I will discuss about geopolitics as well because right now the world is going through a very different episode. I think that one needs to understand what is really happening. But one will ask, why do we need to discuss geopolitics? It doesn't affect us. Well, it doesn't affect us because we are inside India. But what about those Indians who are outside and who are working outside and working as NRI? Still, they are Indian citizens. So, for them, for the Indian diaspora, we really need to understand that what impact it will have on them. My brother is also outside. He is in Russia, and the Russia is involved in a war. with Ukraine. Every day I get to listen that more than this number of soldiers have died on both sides. That this city was captured recently. The military leader of Russia, Prigozhin, died in a plane crash. It's a mystery that who killed him. It is still unanswered. Somebody said that it was Putin because Prigozhin had mutinied against Putin, so he did not like it, so he killed him. Whether it was an assassination or he died naturally, was there any technical fault, was that fault caused by a person deliberately, it is unknown. These sort of answers are very difficult to have because these questions will arise, but still, who is going to answer them? Why USA is silent? Why Biden wants Ukraine to fight? Why is he not trying to stop this war? Because he has a purpose, and he will continue to do that because he wants to destabilize Russia. The more Russia is destabilized, the more better it is for USA. That's what the strategy has been of USA since the time of Cold War. It has been going on, going on, going on, and this is being said that this is the second version of Cold War. Cold War had ended in 1991 with the dissolution of USSR, but still the feeling hasn't been ended. It is still there. Maybe the USA doesn't want to get involved directly, but indirectly, Ukraine is nothing but a stooge of USA. Ukraine is being funded monetarily, missiles, guns, armored vehicles are being given to USA, not USA to Ukraine, sorry for the mistake that I committed. So these things have been happening, and you cannot say this is a neutral world. And if somebody says that this is a neutral world, then I believe that that man is nothing but a fool. He has no knowledge of the geopolitics. Geopolitics is very complex. India has been blamed to be neutral, but the reality is that India is not neutral. India has taken side very clearly, and India is on the side of Russia, and India will definitely do that because India has a right to do that. In the past, when India needed help, who was it who helped India? It was Russia. So it's now the time to pay them back. So India is paying them back. India is also buying cheaper oil from Russia. Before the war, before the commencement of war, India was not buying any kind of stuff, liquid stuff. But now what India is buying cheaper oil from Russia, because all the sanctions that have been imposed on Russia by USA or the European Union, India needs to help Russia because India is having some interests. In this world, there is no neutral body. In geopolitics, there is no such concept of neutrality. Principle of neutrality doesn't apply. This is the era of globalization. And if somebody says that India needs to stand on its moral ground, then I believe that that man doesn't understand even a quantum of geopolitics. I have been watching all the activities that have taken place in Europe very closely, and I have come onto the conclusion that what India did was right. If USA cannot think above his interest, why would India be thinking of somebody else's interest? Right now, if it is all about fulfilling the interest, then I believe that India should definitely reap the benefits of the moment, the war. If the Ukrainian president believes that loss of property should not be done, then he should definitely come and negotiate with Putin. The talk is always on. It is the Ukrainian side which is not ready to accept the negotiations. The Putin wanted to talk, but it is the Zelensky who told that he would not surrender. This is not about surrender. This is about the act of USA from behind, because USA is known for its hypocrisy, double standards. USA wants to become the best military power in the world, but because Russia has done a lot of development in the field of militaryship, I believe that that will not let USA to become the best military power in the world. Along with that, China is also witnessing rise in terms of economy, in terms of military power. So USA now is facing a lot of enemies in terms of diversity, because Russia was already a major power, but China has also become a major power with the passage of time, though China got independence in 1949. So, all these things which are happening right now, this will lead to what? This will lead to, I think, this will give rise to a lot of issues. Grain deal with Iran of Russia is under talk. They're negotiating, and USA is a very big opponent of Iran. So Russia is approaching Iran and they are forming a bilateral relationship. Why would Russia not do that? Definitely, Russia should do that in order to encounter and contain USA. Iran is on the verge of becoming a nuclear power. Even North Korea has been a major threat for USA. So this is the era of globalization. Now there is no bipolarity. This is the era of multipolarity. Everybody is moving for a goal, a predefined, determined goal. And this will definitely lead to such events. There is uncertainty in geopolitics now. One cannot predict that this will be the outcome. Nobody knows what will be the outcome. Predictions can be made, but I don't believe that all predictions are going to turn out to be correct. I don't believe that it's going to happen. Now I believe the foreign service of each country is going to play a major role, because geopolitics is all about negotiations. How well do you put your interest, because the nation's interest comes first. So negotiations are going to be important. Foreign service will definitely play a major role. If India has to become a major power, an economic power, they are going to be the face. Behind the doors, they do their job. So this has been going on, and this will definitely change the face of geopolitics.